watch that. And what's important to notice, you felt it, but it's important to note that that last, 3 times around there, when you did sitting to rising, there was no change in gait, rhythm, or frame.
Right.
Sorry, when you did the rising to sitting.
Right.
Sorry if I said rising, sitting to rising. I meant rising to sitting. Okay? So what does that tell you? When there's no change, when you went from rising to sitting.
When I went from rising to sitting, I kept using my legs.
You kept using your legs, right. And you weren't just sitting. Sometimes what happens is we tend to sit and become a bit of a spectator, then be, right in there in the middle of the wrestling ring with the horse. We kind of just sit and become a little bit of a, doll instead of still really energetically riding.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's where you're really feeling your world is rocked because it's so physical.
Yeah.
It's not sitting and just, feeling a little wind in your face. It's absorbing the movement. It's moving with her. It's pushing her on. All of a sudden it's a lot more athletic. It's a lot more physical.
Yeah.
But the difference is she doesn't make strange and say,
okay.
what's happened to my support system?
You're okay.
You should be as supportive, if not more supportive than
See
sitting when you
it. See it.
right?
Jeez.
She needs to keep going. You need to sit and move on and keep swimming with her, right? Don't, sit outside of the pool in the lawn chair and say, you keep trotting,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay? So that's
That's good.
another really good exercise. Once you feel, and that's the way to do it, do your sitting to your lengthen. Do your sitting to your lengthen because we're wanting to develop here more your leg than your seat.
Right.
If you just rot off your seat, you're Humpty Dumpty. You're going to fall. The way to help balance your seat is by using your legs to keep momentum. You've got to have momentum in order for your seat to work.
I know I said
That's why the first thing you go to, forward and straight. Never do you sit and go straight. You go forward. Forward means legs.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Maddie,
So
come.
the only way your seat can be
Lie down.
effective is if your legs
Lie
are
down,
effective
darling.
first.
Good girl.
That's again why, if you look at the way the tests are written up and formed, that's why lengthen comes before collection. Horses need to lengthen, go, before they should be asked to collect. And that's what a lot of people don't do. They go from a working gait, everyone slaps on big bits and double bridles and then right away collects and doesn't continue with the working and the forward movement. And then they break them down. And then they're laying by the time they're 9.
Right.
Because they're kept in a jack-in-a-box and they're not allowed to just be a horse
Right.
and move. They're a creature of flight. That's where they are most comfortable. So get them moving, work off their comfort zone, work off of their natural abilities. This is completely unnatural, what we do with them. So you want to keep it as natural as possible to warrant asking them to do something that's so unnatural.
Right.
Competing, training, small circles, that's no more a horse than, sending me to the moon,
Yeah.
right? It's very stressful.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to work off their natural gifts as much as you can to keep them happy, keep them strong, keep them sound in their body and sound in their brain, right? So your order of go is your sitting to your lengthen in the rising. Don't lengthen in sitting. I'm not that mean. Don't do that. Use your lengthen as your legs. Getting your legs going. And again, only do like a 3/4, you don't have to do your full long wall.
Yeah.
Right? Just do your 3/4 like MP or KS. And then, come back to the sitting. But she's always had that tendency. It's a little bit you, it's a little bit her, where she does that. How she's goes to the trot, kind of comes above the bit, almost stops to walk. She slows right down. Your canter trots are really good. But anyway, that's the same thing. It's the same little deficiency where we need your legs to stay on. That's good, let her move. You need your legs to stay on, in those transitions. And for
Mavi,
her to
no.
move forward
Mavi,
through those
come.
transitions. Okay? Then once you feel like you've got the lengthen going, and she is in front of my leg, then do the sitting, rising, and you should be able to trot for 10 minutes.
Okay.
Not that you're going to, but you should feel so confident that you could trot for 10 minutes and,
I'll get it.
don't worry, and, rising, sitting, rising, sitting, rising, sitting. Like sit for, FB, rise, B, R, sit, R, C, whatever. Like shake it up, and she should be so solid, and you should be so solid that there's not any change in her or you, other than the difference that you're rising or sitting. Okay, so that's okay. We didn't get to the leg yield. This is actually more important.
I think this was a lesson that I needed to, because I felt it. It's I'm not
Using enough leg.
No.
Yeah, and the thing is, you're gonna find when you get to that lengthen, like again, you'll see on that video, that last bit of working trot sitting you have there, much better, because now you've got a horse underneath you. Right, now you're going with her and you're going somewhere. It's a working trot. Keeping her in front of you, and that's the difference.
That is, yeah.
Rather than feeling like, oh, we're both now a marionette, and she's kind of hanging in the air and I'm hanging with her. But yet it's no, I'm on this dolphin and we're cruising, and I gotta stay with her and go with her and, roll up my sleeves and work. And this will be the hardest because it's a bit of a culture shock. It'll get easier as you get fitter.
Okay.
In a month, you'll be able to trot sitting much longer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And were my my legs were too forward and they would need to come back and
Don't worry about the position.
Just
They're
think about
fine.
sitting?
The position is fine.
Okay.
Using them, making them work this way,
Okay. Is more
right?
important.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't, the
I just
position
thought my
is,
stirrups were like
yeah, and sure, because if your legs have just been used to kind of sitting still, then there's no movement in that, so it feels tidy. And that's again where there's way too much focus on tidiness as riders instead of function. Tidiness will only take you so far.
Right.
Beyond that, look at the Olympics, look at any sport. Good Lord, it's function.
Yeah.
It's a heck of a lot of work.
Okay.
If you're not physically exhausted, it's not chess, right? You should be beat. If
Okay.
you had a really good working ride, you should be hot. Yeah.
We usually are.
I think she is.